guys, welcome back to Sampaholics Anonymous. Never mind the weird thingy, we are going to do live swatches and I still have swatches on my hands. Today we are going to be looking at the 6-piece Pastel Pat Names collection from Pretty Series that I showed you in a recent haul. There's 6 pastel polishes. I don't want to call them pastel neons, even though sometimes on camera they do come across as pretty neon-y, especially the pink one, but they're not technically like pastel neons, they're just pastels. So I already did my live swatches. I am still doing the 2 nail shapes on 2 hands kind of a deal. I haven't made up my mind yet, and I'm thinking about just leaving it as is because this is really easy to file on that hand, and once you've got the coffin on your good hand you can just maintain it. It's pretty easy once you've got the shape, you know, to just keep it in that shape, and the almond isn't too bad to keep up on my Cindy hand. So I'm just gonna continue doing 2 shapes for a while now. So we're gonna be looking at this little collection here. Let's go through the polishes real quick. First up we have this one, the little Duckling, what it's called. It's a nice pastel yellow. Then we have this nice pastel orange, which is called Peachy Poo, also very aptly named, I think. Then we have the pink one. It comes across a lot pinker, a lot more Barbie pink than it actually is. But this one is called Fluffykins. Then we have this pastel teal kind of a thing, which is called Bunny Foo Foo. I like that name a lot. Then we have this light or pastel blue, baby blue, which is called Doodlebug. And then last not least, we have Cutiepatootie, which is this nice pastel purple shade that is actually still on my nails. So I'm gonna head straight into swatches and then give you my 5 cents afterwards.
All right, let's start this up with this yellow, which is called Little Duckling. And as you can see here, it does what a yellow polish does, and that is go on pretty streaky. I had, to be honest, I had some flashbacks to that My Little Pony collection from China Glaze, but all those pastels were like so runny and hard to control that, you know, this one, the Pretty Serious one, the Little Duckling, was 100% better than those, but the formula is hard to work with and it is streaky, and you are going to see some darker spots even at the second coat. By the way, I'm going to be doing 2 coats on camera. Sometimes I ended up doing like a 3rd coat just to get rid of those dark spots for the swatch pictures. This was one of them, so in the swatch picture you're actually going to see 3 coats, and as you can see here, after the 2nd coat, if you're not really careful, you are going to have some darker spots. That is not pretty, and it's really hard to work with this one. I'm sorry. Okay, and next up is Peachy Poo. That is such a cute name, and it is very similar to the yellow polish, but it's a little bit darker, so the streakiness on the first coat isn't as bad. I just think that pastels are in general really hard to do for some reason. I don't make polishes, so I don't know what that reason could be. But also I'm going to be doing 2 coats of this on camera, and the swatch picture will be 2 coats as well. But you are going to see like darker spots where the polish didn't even itself out nicely in the swatch pictures even. So I'm going to show you 2 coats, but a good thing about these polishes is that I did not use top coat on any of my swatch pictures, so all that goodness, the shiny goodness that you're going to see, is the polishes themselves. Yeah, sometimes I tried doing like a thinner first coat and then a thick second coat, but that's going to take like a lot of drying time. You could try like 3 even thinner coats if that's like your preferred method. Maybe that works better. I didn't really try that out. I just sometimes, use that 3rd coat to fix those dark spots. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Oh no, my name is Fluffykins. I'm sorry, I got confused here for a second because my camera makes this one so Barbie pink. It's unbelievable. As you can see here on my pinky finger, I ended up doing a much thicker coat than I originally wanted. So it's not as patchy as the two lighter polishes that we saw before this one, but you do want to be careful also with this one. The formula isn't bad, it's not runny, it's just that, you know, the level of opaqueness and the self-leveling properties of these polishes aren't as good as with other polishes. You can see that this one gets nice and opaque at 2 coats, and I don't really see any blacks or dark spots left on my nails. So this one is good at 2 coats, and Swatch Picture is going to be 2 coats with no top coat. Moving on to this gorgeous pastel teal, which is called a bunny Foo Foo. Again, this one a little bit patchy on the first coat, yada yada yada. Second coat to even it out. This is another one of those polishes where I did end up putting on like a third coat for the swatch pictures to make them nice and even. I did take my swatch pictures without that third coat, and then I looked at them and then I was mad at myself and I applied a third coat. So just know that you're gonna see 3 coats in the swatch pictures, and with this one, like 3 even coats should do the trick. Formula or like opacity, you know, the way the self-leveling and the opacity of this one is slightly better than with the 3 we've seen so far. Alright, moving on to this baby blue, which is called Doodlebug. This one actually did have a better formula, maybe because it's a darker, like a base shade. So the pastel formula didn't, ruin it completely. This one got nice and opaque in 2 coats just by itself. I didn't have to do much of a manipulation. You can still see some bald spots there on that first coat, but on the second coat, all of that, was gone. It did self-level pretty easily and nicely, and swatch pictures are going to be without top coat, so all that shininess is just down to the polish itself. Words, why are you so hard today? Why? Last but not least is Cutiepatootie, the purple pastel in this collection. And this one did something weird. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but I had a weird feeling of there being like, pigment particles in this, but evenly. It was weird. I'm going to talk about it later in the my final 2 cents on these polishes. But that just felt weird. Not like the formula was gritty or anything, and this one got nice and opaque in 2 coats as well. But it just had this weird look. I could have gone for a third coat, I think. Now, in hindsight, I might have, preferred 3 coats just to deepen up that color a bit, because at certain angles I could still see, some bald spots, and I could sort of see my visible nail line. But anyway, I enjoyed this polish a lot, and formula and opacity were much better than before.
my live swatches. You can kind of see a little bit of a separation going on here on my nail table because these three are my favorites. The Fluffykins not so much for its formula but for the color that you're going to end up with, and then Doodlebug and Cutiepatootie did have the best formula out of the bunch, and by best mean that you could get them like streak free and like patch free the easiest. Like overall, these are pastel polishes, and we all remember the struggle that I had with the pastels in the China Glaze My Little Pony collection. I did have some higher hopes for, you know, Pretty Serious pastels because, you know, this is an indie brand. Everything else I've tried from Pretty Serious was like A+. The formula was like spot on. The formula on these ones is too, but these being... What the... Okay, so there's music playing in the background. I am confused. I was saying, I thought that these being like indie polishes and everything else I've tried from Pretty Serious, you know, was very, very good as per formula. But I think pastels are just hard to do, I think. If you add like a lot of white, the formula is going to be kind of hard to maneuver. So what worked for me was either doing like 3 really light coats, and then you have to be really careful on the third coat to get it nice and even, like 2 strokes if you can manage. Not even a 3-stroke method, but like a 2-stroke method, or doing like a first rough coat, I would call it, you know, that can be patchy, and then doing a thicker second coat. Those methods seemed to work best for me. I actually redid like a few of the swatches off camera, or for the swatch pictures actually, or added like a third coat to make it even to look good in the swatch pictures. You know, it may look good through the viewfinder right here, but when you look at it like in decent lighting and, you know, taking a picture in a softbox, you're gonna see all those little streaks and bulb patches and like dark spots that you can't see like through this camera. So I ended up redoing some and adding like a third coat, but the Doodlebug really worked in like 2 coats. That was nice. And the Cutiepatootie, I don't know, it looks to me like it has some kind of a texture, or it looked to me like that while I was putting it on, like you know, the pigment wasn't mixed in all the way. It kind of has a look, you know, when you're making pudding, I know this is like a weird comparison, but like the powder mixture from the pudding that you get in those little baggies, it doesn't dissolve fully in your milk or you're stirring it into. I kind of had that vibe going from this polish when I was putting it on. I was like, are there particles? Is this like, is there textured? I don't know what's going on. But the end result was pretty okay. But you can, you know, see now that it's dried down significantly that you can see all those nice wrinkles in my nails. I have nail wrinkles. Meaning, you know, those ridges that everybody has on their nails, you know. Okay, so that was my 2 cents on this Pretty Serious Pastel Pet Names collections. I'm actually kind of curious to see how the other cream polishes that I have from Pretty Serious are going to work. You know, the Rainy Days collection that I have, because these are not pastel, but they're all straight up queens. They're queens. No, they're creams. And I'm curious to see how these work as opposed to these pastel-y ones that were like so-so and kind of hard to work with. So we're gonna see in the very near future. I also got Moonshine Many swatches to do out the wazoo. I have a buttload of Creative Shop plates to get through, and I might be using like the Pretty Serious pastels as a base for stamping because they are so light and muted. And then we also got a bit of a bundle monster to do. I still have those caption art screens to do. You know, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm telling you all this in order for you to consider subscribing if you haven't already, because once we hit those 500 subscribers, we're going to be having another giveaway. I'm actually going to put like one of those caption art screens in the giveaway because my friend Sally was kind enough to send me an extra one that she won, and you know, it's like pay it forward, and that's what I'm going to do. And there's also a bunch of other stuff already accumulated in that little giveaway package for the 500 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, you should consider doing that, because I've just told you what other cool things are in store in the very, very near future that I'm going to be swatching live for you and showing you swatch pictures of and telling you my opinion on that. I also have I don't know, there's a lot of fun stuff still in the mail to me, and I hope I get through all the stuff that I still have to swatch before that gets here, because otherwise I'll be just swamped with stuff and I don't know where the time should come from for me to swatch these. So anyway, that's it for today, you guys. Leave me your thoughts on this pastel collection down in the comments below. Pillow in the comments below. Please leave them there. And yeah, that's it for today, you guys. I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!